Okay, I have to admit, I spent a good 5 minutes this morning just staring at the Premier League schedule, and I was convinced I was losing my mind.
Oh,
I had it written down. And Ken, in my diary, the big one, Liverpool, Manchester United, Feb 8th. I was all set, the hype videos, the montages, the whole circus.
and then the cold, hard reality hit you.
It hit me hard. I was just running on autopilot. The fixture computer has well, it's done us over. There is no Liverpool versus United this weekend.
It's the ultimate curveball from the schedule makers, isn't it?
It really is.
You have millions of fans just instinctively gearing up for that huge clash, only to find out they're in completely different orbits this week. But honestly,
Go on.
I think it works out better for our deep dive.
Better. That's a bold take.
Yeah,
We're missing the marquee rivalry of the weekend.
but hear me out. If they were playing each other, the whole narrative would just be about those 90 minutes on the pitch. But because they aren't, it means we get to step back and look at these two massive diverging storylines separately. You've got Liverpool heading into a title-defining clash with Manchester City.
Right.
And then you have United, who are quietly, and I mean very quietly, putting together a terrifying run of form under Michael Carrick.
It really is a tale of two clubs, isn't it? We've got the slot machine rebooting at Anfield and the Carrick Renaissance happening at Old Trafford.
Exactly.
So the mission today isn't to preview a game that isn't happening. It's to figure out which of these two giants is actually in a better position as we hit this final third of the 2026 season.
It's the perfect time for a status check, and I think we have to start with the actual headline event. Sunday, Anfield, Liverpool versus Manchester City.
Which, let's be honest, has kind of replaced the United game as the game of the season for the last decade anyway.
You're not wrong.
But the stakes here feel different. I was looking at the notes on Liverpool's recent form, and the word resurgence is underlined like 3 times.
It's the only word that really fits. I mean,
Yeah.
Context is everything here. A month ago, people were whispering about Arne's slot. The system looked a bit rigid. The attack was disjointed.
I remember that.
And then Newcastle happened.
That 4-1 win last week. And that wasn't a lucky 4-1, where you score a couple of penalties and a deflection. I watched it back. Newcastle didn't even play badly. Liverpool just suffocated them.
That is the key word.
Mm-hmm.
The data from that match is, well, it's frightening. I was looking at the PPDA stats. That's passes allowed per defensive action.
Okay.
Liverpool's intensity was back to levels we haven't seen in maybe 2 years. They weren't just pressing, they were hunting in packs. The source material highlights a specific tactical tweak Slot made.
Are you talking about how he's inverting the fullbacks again?
A little more specific than that, it's the spacing.
Yeah.
Against Newcastle, the distance between Liverpool's midfield line and their forward line when they were pressing,
Mm-hmm.
it was compressed by about 8 meters compared to their season average.
8 meters. That doesn't sound like a lot, but on the pitch.
It means Newcastle had nowhere to breathe. Every time they tried to play through the middle, they just walked straight into a trap.
And that's what creates those transition moments. You win the ball high up, the other team is all spread out, and bang, you're in on goal.
Exactly. That third goal against Newcastle was the perfect example. Win the ball, one vertical pass, goal. It was absolutely ruthless. And that's why Slot is calling this City game a barometer.
I saw that quote too, a key barometer. It feels like he's trying to manage expectations, telling the fans, okay, we battered Newcastle, but don't plan the parade just yet.
Of course. He knows that doing it against Newcastle is one thing. Doing it against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, that's the final boss level.
Right.
He needs to prove that this new intensity isn't just a one-off adrenaline spike, but that it's a sustainable system. He's basically asking his players, can you pull off this same high wire act when the margins for error are, 0?
Well, let's flip that coin. Let's look at Manchester City. Usually you just say good luck with that. But looking at the report on City's current state, are we actually seeing cracks in the armor?
Cracks might even be generous. It's more like gaping holes, specifically when they're on the road.
The away form stat was the thing that jumped out at me. They haven't kept a clean sheet away from home since, what was it, November?
Mid-November, and for a team chasing the title, that is wild. They're sitting second, desperately trying to reel in Arsenal, but every time they leave the Etihad, they look so fragile.
So what's the reason?
The analysis points directly to the absence of their main defensive pairing. They're rotating center backs who just aren't comfortable playing that incredible high line that Guardiola loves.
And that just feels like blood in the water for this Liverpool team. If you're playing a high line with backup defenders against a team that just rediscovered its transition mojo.
It's a very dangerous cocktail. And it actually gets worse for City. The tactical preview we have notes that their midfield control, which is usually their superpower, it's dipped. Rodri is getting isolated.
Ugh.
Teams are learning that if you just man-mark him out of the game, the rest of the City midfield really struggles to progress the ball cleanly.
So if Liverpool brings that same compressed pressing game we were just talking about, and they just stick a body on Rodri.
Then City has to bypass the midfield.
Yeah.
They have to go long. And frankly, with the forward line they have right now, going long isn't really their game. They want control. Liverpool wants chaos.
That's the whole matchup, isn't it? Control versus chaos. The experts are all predicting a high-tempo, open game. None of this, first 20 minutes feeling each other out business.
Oh, no chance. The projections for expected goals, the XG, in this match are through the roof. Neither of these teams is built to just sit back. City can't afford a draw if they want to catch Arsenal. And Liverpool, well, they're riding this huge wave of adrenaline.
Okay, I'm looking at the tactical key section here. It explicitly mentions the transition battle. We know Liverpool wants to transition fast, so how does City stop that?
Technically, it's all about their rest defense. So when City is attacking, they usually keep 3 players back in a really structured shape to stop the counterattack.
Right.
But because of those injuries we mentioned, that structure has been loose. They've been getting caught 2v2 or even 3v2 at the back. If they lose the ball in Liverpool's final third, it's just a track meet all the way back to their own goal.
And in a track meet at Anfield, I'm backing the home team every time.
And that's where the experts are leaning. It's not a landslide, but the needle is definitely tilting toward Liverpool.
Yeah.
You combine the Anfield factor, which is a real tangible thing in these huge games, with City's travel sickness and their defensive injuries.
It feels like the perfect storm for Slot to make his big statement.
It really does.
It's funny, isn't it? If Liverpool wins this game, the whole narrative shifts from are they back to are they title contenders in the span of 90 minutes.
That is the nature of the beast.
But, and this is the huge pivot, while everyone is looking at this potential explosion of offense at Anfield, there's something entirely different happening just down the M62. We have to talk about Manchester United.
The elephant in the room, as our dossier calls them.
It's so weird to talk about United as the stable ones. For the last few years, they've just been the soap opera. But I'm reading these notes on Michael Carrick, and it's all so boring, but in a good way.
Boring is the highest compliment you can pay them right now. You just look at their last month. 4 straight Premier League wins, no drama, no last-minute panic, just efficient, ruthless victories. And that 2-0 against Tottenham was the masterpiece.
That Spurs game was really eye-opening. Tottenham is a team that wants to run, that wants to create chaos, and United just, well, they didn't let them.
They completely nullified them. It was a tactical clinic in structure.
Yeah.
This is the Carrick effect. The report we have calls it the pivot to pragmatism.
Yeah.
He hasn't come in and tried to teach them some complex, total football philosophy overnight.
No.
He's just said, right, we are going to be impossible to break down.
I was looking at the average positions from that Spurs match. United's shape was so incredibly compact. 2 banks of 4, disciplined, moving together. It's almost retro.
It is retro. It's Ferguson-era pragmatism.
Mm-hmm.
But it works. The stat that really blew my mind is their expected goals against, their XGA, over this 4-game run. It's the lowest in the entire league. They just aren't giving up big chances.
And when you don't give up big chances, you don't need to score 4 goals to win a game. You just need 1 or 2.
Precisely. And that brings us to the other pillar of the Carrick turnaround, set pieces.
Oh, this is huge. I feel like we always ignore set pieces because they aren't sexy football, but my God, United are killing teams with corners and free kicks right now.
It's a market inefficiency they are exploiting perfectly. The report notes that United has scored more goals from set pieces in the last 6 weeks than they did in the previous 6 months. That points to incredible work on the training ground. It's so detail-oriented. It's not just whip it in and hope. It's specific blocks, specific runs, targeted zones.
So while Liverpool is relying on this high-octane, high-risk pressing game to beat Newcastle 4-1, United just beat Spurs 2-0 by, being organized and nailing a corner kick.
It's a total contrast in efficiency, isn't it? Liverpool is expending a massive amount of physical energy to overwhelm teams.
Yeah.
United is conserving energy, staying structured, and then striking when the moment is right.
And here is the kicker. This is the stat that I think a lot of casual fans might have missed because of all the hype around City. Just look at the league table.
Yep, Manchester United is currently sitting above Liverpool.
That is the headline. For all this talk of Liverpool's great resurgence, it's United who are actually ahead of them right now.
And that completely changes the complexion of the whole season. United has quietly climbed right into the driver's seat for that Champions League spot. They have momentum, but it's a different kind of momentum. It's the momentum of inevitability. You watch them play right now, and you just don't feel like they're going to concede.
Whereas if Liverpool, even when they're 2-0 up, you still feel like anything could happen.
Exactly. Liverpool is a roller coaster. United is a train.
Okay, so let's bring these two threads together. We've got the chaos of Slot's Liverpool and the control of Carrick's United. Without a head-to-head match, how do these two philosophies stack up against each other for the rest of the season?
This is the style war the analysis talks about. And it's fascinating because it asks a really fundamental question about what works in the modern Premier League.
Go on.
So on one side, you have Liverpool, high ceiling, but a low floor. When that press works, they can beat anyone in the world, even Manchester City.
Yeah.
But the risk is burnout. Can you really play that high-intensity pressing game every 3 days in February and March?
Right.
The source material specifically flags fatigue as a major risk factor for Slot's system. We've seen it before with high-pressing teams. The legs just go in April.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, look at United. Low risk, high consistency. Their challenge isn't fatigue, it's dominance. Can they sustain this run when they play teams that sit back against them?
Good point.
It's easy to play on the counterattack against an open team like Tottenham. But what happens when they play a relegation side that just parks the bus? Can Carrick's structured system break down a low block?
That's the creativity gap mentioned in the notes. United is great without the ball, but do they have enough ideas with the ball?
That's the million-dollar question. Liverpool has almost too many ideas. United might not have enough.
It's just amazing how the narratives have flipped. 2 years ago, United was the chaotic mess relying on individual brilliance, and Liverpool was the relentless machine.
And now Carrick has turned United into the machine.
And Slot has turned Liverpool back into the heavy metal band. So purely from a watchability standpoint, Sunday is all about Liverpool. But from a scary for the rest of the league standpoint, I think I might be more worried about United.
I think I agree. Consistency usually wins out over volatility in a 38-game season. United is just grinding out results. That becomes a habit. Liverpool is creating moments. And moments are great, but habits are what get you trophies, or at least top 4 finishes.
So for everyone listening who is, bummed about not having a derby this weekend, don't be. Sunday is a huge litmus test for Liverpool. Can they prove this slot ball chaos actually works against the very best?
And while you're watching that, just keep one eye on the table. Because if City wins or if it's a draw, United strengthens their grip on that third spot without even kicking a ball.
It's the beauty of the football ecosystem, isn't it? Everything is connected.
Absolutely. And I think this weekend will tell us a lot about the managerial battle, too. You have the interim manager who is, well, arguably outperforming the marquee hire.
Let's pull on that thread before we wrap. You've got Carrick, the interim, and Slot, the revolutionary. What does this say about where football is heading in 2026?
Well, it's a provocative thought to leave you with, I think. We spend so much time analyzing these incredibly complex tactical systems. Inverted fullbacks, box midfields, false nines. We obsess over the complexity.
Right.
But then you look at Michael Carrick. He's simplified everything. Structure, set pieces, discipline. And he's winning.
It's almost a rejection of the pepification of football.
In a way, it is, and makes you wonder, are we overcomplicating the game? Is a well-drilled corner kick routine and a solid 4-4-2 actually more valuable in the modern game than 65% possession?
Yeah.
As we watch Liverpool try to outpass and outpress City this weekend, just ask yourself, is the energy worth the reward? Or is the quiet efficiency of what's happening at Old Trafford actually the smarter bet?
That is really going to stick with me. Is the energy worth the reward? I guess we'll find out around 6 p.m. on Sunday.
We certainly will.
Listen, thanks for unpacking all this with me. It went from being about a missing game to a deep dive into the very soul of these two clubs right now.
It's always a pleasure. Enjoy the match.
You too. And to everyone listening, enjoy the chaos at Anfield and keep an eye on that league table. It's moving fast. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.